Not even close. There's never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
President Trump there at the White House, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio also serving as his national security advisor, along with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth right there with President Trump announcing to the nation, similar to what he said in his post on social media not long ago, that the U.S. is now directly involved with Iran, striking 3 nuclear locations, Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan, 3 nuclear facilities that the U.S. had long been studying, as well as international observers around the world in tracking Iran's nuclear program and their desire perhaps one day to have a nuclear weapon. I want to bring in Mary Bruce. Let's go back to Mary at the White House. Mary, the president had warned Iran, come to the table, let's negotiate some sort of a peace deal, that this current conflict must end. At last word, he said 2 weeks would be his deadline. We know that's turned out to be 2 days. We'll learn in the hours and days to come whether that was part of the strategy here. But this is a fairly risky move for this president, though tonight he says it's been a victory. He thanked U.S. forces who were involved, and he said if Iran does not end the wars and seek peace, tragedy for Iran will be even greater than what we've seen in the last 24 hours.
David, it is an extremely risky move, and no one knows really where this goes from here. Look, the president, we know, has long warned that Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, but he also long was pushing for those negotiations. As you mentioned, it was just 2 days ago that the president announced, after yet another meeting in the Situation Room, that he was going to give himself this 2-week deadline within which to make this decision whether or not to strike Iran, in part because he thought there was, quote, a substantial chance of negotiations, that they would be able to get Iran back to the table. It is not clear still, even after hearing from the president just now, what changed his mind, what led him to believe there was no time left to waste, that the U.S. had to go ahead and get deeply involved in this conflict in a way that the president has also really promised the American people he would not. He campaigned on a promise to be a peacemaker and a unifier, to keep America out of these kinds of conflicts. And what's clear tonight is that the president is very much leaving open the door that there will be more of this. While he is hailing the strikes tonight as a huge success, he is also not ruling out additional military action, saying that there are many targets left, that they will act with precision, speed, and skill if needed. How all of this will ultimately end Iran's nuclear program is a huge question. And of course, David, Iran has promised a severe response if the U.S. were to be directly involved, as we now are.
And one quick follow-up to what you're reporting here, Mary. Obviously, you're watching ABC News live coverage at this hour. The president just addressing the nation, talking about the U.S. striking 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The president calling it a tremendous success. Speaking briefly with our John Carl earlier this evening before addressing the nation about this. And Mary, you've covered President Trump for some time. You covered him as a candidate, his promises not to engage in the Middle East and in any more foreign wars. At the same time, he has long promised that Iran would not get a nuclear weapon.
And David, just again 2 days ago, the White House, while saying that they were giving themselves this 2-week timeline, again stressed that Iran was very close to getting a nuclear weapon, saying that Iran had everything it needed to achieve a nuclear weapon, and that once the supreme leader gave the go-ahead, that it could be just a few weeks before Iran had that full capability. Clearly, something changed in the president's calculus to make him go ahead and make this decision tonight. It is a remarkable turn for a president who has avoided getting dragged into these kind of conflicts, and it is one that his presidency, it will now define. That is for sure.
Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.